Hello and welcome to Select 10. In this video, we will count down the top 10 outstanding action movies that need to be on your watch list. To suggest you with action movies you may have missed, we have selected some of the lesser-known films and avoided already popular action films that you may have seen. So watch the entire video to ensure you don't miss any of the movies on this list. Also, these films are currently available on Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and HBO Max. Now let's start the video. Number 10. BRAVEN. It is an action thriller film directed by Lynn Edding. The plot revolves around Joe Braven, the founder of a logging business, who lives in the States with his family. But Joe's normal life becomes complicated when his dementia-stricken father, Lyndon, misidentifies a pub customer as his wife, triggering a bar fight that sends Lyndon to the hospital. Afterward, seeking a relaxing weekend, the family chooses to spend time away in their remote log cabin, where they encounter problems from a drug kingpin who wishes to use Joe's business as a cover for his drug production. As a result, they come into contact with a group of brutal drug dealers, forcing them into a kill-or-be-killed situation where they must use any resources at their disposal to stay alive. While the majority of the plot is predictable and makes you feel familiar because we've all seen a lot of films with this kind of story. However, aside from that, it is a fairly entertaining action movie, and Jason Momoa impresses in his intensely violent action sequences. And the movie has a 5.9 rating on IMDb and an 80% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 9. Snake Eyes. It is an action-adventure film based on G.I. Joe film series. The story revolves around Snake Eyes, a deadly martial artist who is recruited by powerful Yakuza leader Kenta, who promises to locate his father's murderer if he fights alongside him. Meanwhile, Tommy and Kenta were both fighting for the throne of Clan Arashikage, a historical society dedicated to upholding the rule of law and combating evil. However, Kenta tried to murder Tommy but was caught and exiled. So now, in order to bring Snake Eyes close enough to seize the clan's most treasured artifact, the Jewel of the Sun, Kenta plots a phony assassination attempt on Tommy, who is saved by the Snake Eyes. After saving Tommy's life, but without their knowledge, Snake Eyes is collaborating with their enemy to obtain a valuable jewel. However, when past truths are exposed, Snake Eyes' loyalty and commitment are put to the test, and he is forced to choose a side. It's a G.I. Joe spin-off movie that explains the origins of the mysterious ninja, Snake Eyes. Yes, the film has many flaws, but if action is what you're after, this one has plenty of it. And the film has a 5.4 rating on IMDb and a 74% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 8. The Informer. It is a crime-action thriller film directed by Andrea Di Stefano. The plot revolves around Pete Koslow, a longtime member of Poland's underworld, who decides to leave the crime and start a new happy family life with Sofia and their daughter. Because of this, he is currently assisting the FBI in busting up the New York narcotics business run by Polish gangsters. However, when a covert NYPD policeman is killed during a federal investigation, Pete is forced to go back to Bale Hill Prison, where he previously faced charges for murder, in order to dismantle the gang from within. Even though some actors gave a decent performance, the story and how it was presented were quite outstanding, and all things considered, it is a solid, gripping action thriller that is well worth watching. And the movie has a 6.6 rating on IMDb and a 60% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 7. Code 8. It is a science fiction action film directed by Jeff Chan. The film takes place in a future where people who possess exceptional powers are living in harsh financial conditions. The main plot follows Connor Reed, a construction worker with superpowers who is having trouble paying for his ill mother's surgical therapy. However, to make money, he decides to join the lucrative criminal community managed by Garrett, who works for a well-known mob boss. But the mayhem starts when Connor and the Garrett gang attempt a series of dangerous heists, and things go tragically wrong, forcing them to flee for their lives as a strong military chases them. With its action-packed plot, the film offers a fresh perspective on the overdone superpower genre. With good CGI, the film maintains a realistic edge throughout and offers plenty of action to keep you entertained. Also, a sequel to this film is in the works and will be released soon. And the movie has a 6.1 rating on IMDb and a 60% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 6. The VILLAINESS. It is an action thriller film directed by Yoon Byung-gil. The story centers on Suk-hee, a smart female assassin who has been trained to kill since a young age and who later works as a secret agent for South Korea's secret services. But when her mentor died and she was given the opportunity to start a new life, she traveled to South Korea as a government employee, where she was assured that she would be free after 10 years of public service. As she was beginning a new career and dreaming of living a different kind of life, two mysterious men from her past made an unwelcome return to her life and exposed horrible secrets about her background. Now, to make things right once and for all, Suk-hee goes on a spree of murder and vengeance in order to fully claim her freedom and overcome her destiny. It is one of the best revenge action thriller film, full of spectacular fight scenes and a few surprising elements that will impress you. And the movie has a 6.6 rating on IMDb and a 66% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 5. The Marksman. It is an action thriller film directed by Robert Lawrence. The plot centers on Jim Hansen, a skilled rancher and renowned retired Marine sniper for the U.S. Marine Corps who just wants to be left alone as he battles eviction orders and makes a life in a remote border region. However, all changes when he sees 11-year-old immigrant Miguel and his mother, Rosa, escaping from criminal organization gunmen under the command of the merciless Mauricio. Unfortunately, after getting caught up in a shootout, a passing Rosa urges Jim to take her kid to a shelter in Chicago with her relatives. Now Jim is left with no choice but to disobey his police daughter, Sarah, and slip Miguel out of the nearby Border Protection Department. Together, they set out and were pursued by Mauricio and his team of killers who were hot on their tails. The movie follows a typical Neeson theme with slightly less violence, but you will still enjoy watching him on screen, and some of the kills he takes with his rifle expertise are great. And the movie has a 5.6 rating on IMDb and an 83% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 4. A Prayer Before Dawn. It is a prison action drama film directed by Jean-Stéphane Sauveur. The story follows Billy Moore, an English boxer who is down on his luck, involved in drugs, and imprisoned in Thailand. Billy gets arrested and transferred to Nakhon Pathom jail beyond Bangkok, where he battles to survive and eventually starts competing in Muay Thai boxing matches. It is based on the true events of Billy Moore, an English boxer who was jailed in Thailand's most dangerous penitentiary. While there, Moore was thrust into a life of violence and drugs and discovered that his greatest chance of escaping and getting his freedom back was to compete in Muay Thai competitions. The movie depicts jail life in the most realistic way imaginable, and Joe Cole gives a fantastic portrayal of the guy he plays. You can sense his suffering and loneliness. This film is a must-see for action movie fans. And the film has a 6.8 rating on IMDb and a 74% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 3. K.G.F. Chapter 1. It is a period action film directed by Prashant Neel. The film centers on Rocky, a high-ranking mercenary in Mumbai who was born into slavery and desires fortune and influence to keep a commitment to his dead mother. His pursuit leads him to Mumbai, where he becomes connected with the infamous Gold Syndicate, but his life is changed when his employer's boss promises him complete authority over the city in exchange for helping him with a job that requires him to pose as a slave worker in the Kolar gold fields in order to kill Garuda, the land's future successor. Overall, the film has strong visuals, an exceptional plot, and sleek raw action that will amaze you with its background music. Unfortunately, the film is not available in English, but you can still enjoy it by watching it with English subtitles. And the film has an 8.2 rating on IMDb and an 88% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 2. 21 Bridges. It is an action thriller film directed by Brian Kirk. The story centers around Andre, a brave officer who is determined to stop two former soldiers who have turned deadly killers when they kill a couple of policemen during a robbery. After uncovering an enormous and unexpected conspiracy, Andre finds himself in the middle of a citywide chase for two cop killers, but as the investigation intensifies, he finds himself unsure of both who to pursue and who is after him. However, the situation becomes much more stressful as officials choose to take drastic measures by shutting all 21 bridges in Manhattan in order to stop the culprits from fleeing. This film will captivate and engage audiences with its drama and action, as well as its thrilling chase, which will resemble a cat-and-mouse game. And the movie has a 6.6 rating on IMDb and a 92% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 1. The Mountain 2. It is a military action drama film directed by Alper Kagler. The story picks up after the incidents of the first movie and follows a Special Forces squad of 7, led by Commanding Officer Vasil, as they set out on a recovery operation where they are abruptly ambushed by terrorists on a mountain peak. In the midst of this, 2 recruited soldiers, one a rich, highly educated guy, another a rough street smart thug, must leave their differences aside and come to rely on one another in order to stay alive in a hostile environment. To make matters worse, they are cut off behind enemy lines, with the mountain serving as their only escape route. It is a continuation of the 2012 film The Mountain, and it is among the best military action films I have recently seen. The film is not only action-packed, but it also features powerful dialogue that will stick with you for a while. It is one of those films that shouldn't be missed. And the movie has an 8.2 rating on IMDb and a 77% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. That's it for today. Thank you for watching this video. And do subscribe our channel to see more videos related to movies and series suggestions.